Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2014. This is Chad Corbett. I'm doing a quick market analysis for subdivisions in 24121, the Moneta zip code at Smith Mountain Lake. I'm going to start here. You can kind of see this is the predominant zip code throughout the lake. So it's on both the North Shore side. Oh, well, it just disappeared. Sorry, things slow down just a bit when I'm recording. Anyways, we can come back to that, but this is, the predominant zip code at Smith Mountain Lake. So let's first look at raw land. Now, this is more of a macro level analysis. We haven't drilled down to developed versus undeveloped, waterfront versus non-waterfront. So this is going to be a mixed bag. I'm trying to give you kind of a macro view of the overall market here. So you can see that the active to sold ratio is extremely low. There's a ton of land on the market, and there's a few closings happening. The brown line represents new listings. The good news is there's not a hell of a lot coming on the market. People are realizing that the market's saturated with all this overpriced land up here. So your sold line runs low. The prices, let's just focus on the sold because that's the only one that really matters. This black line. So we do see quite an increase in price. I mean, we're coming up. If we look at this over a year, the trend line is still going to be trending up quite a bit. I mean, look at the scale here. We're going from 80 to 160. So, if you do a moving average, then you're going to see quite an appreciation. So the good news is cash is moving in, and people are taking positions in land. You can also see here the sold list. I think this is if you did a trend line. Unfortunately, this program doesn't do that. So you can see it's kind of sporadic throughout different seasons, but as a trend, it's trending upward. The absorption rate. Unfortunately, we had a massive bump here between May and April. I'm not sure why in a month it would jump that much with the absorption rate. I guess we must have had a month with no sales. Days on market is relatively flat. If you look at this over the course of 18 months or so, I mean, you're looking at a pretty flat market time, which is running high. You can see and I try to look at median whenever possible. So this year we've got a median days on market of 289. Last year was 212, so it actually has gone up a little bit. And then the sold volumes, you see that the number of transactions or the amount of transactions is low versus what's being listed and what's just sitting there stagnant. To look at the numbers, I mean, we just looked at this in the graph, but let's look at it in number format. Sold listings, we've had 4 sold listings and land listings in this zip code to date. We had 4 last year, so it's a 0, or sorry, this is month to month, so we're on par with last year. As far as year to date, there's been 25 sold this year, 36 last year, for a 30% decrease. Which is kind of interesting when you look at, well, I guess that's the sold. So we're looking at actually, where we go? The absorption rate, I guess, would be, That's why I like to look at it both ways. Pending listings, we've got 2 this month, 5 last year this month. That's coming down 40%, so it's showing less activity. Active listings are coming down, not quite as much as the pending. So we've got right now 550 active land listings on the market. Last year we had 601, so that's a drop of 8%. And then the new stuff coming on, like what's been on in the last 30 days, there's been 20 versus 23 the year before, so it's a 13% decrease. So it's safe to say this is a buyer's market. It does seem to be improving, but because of financing and because of heavy down payments and holding costs, and most developers were slaughtered, it's a lot easier to just go out and buy a house than to buy a home site and build. So let's look at that market. This is the residential as of today. So we've got, again, a lot of homes that are on the market as active that are in the higher price range. Most likely they're overpriced, I'll say. And you can see that the new listings coming on are pretty realistic on price to where the sold listings actually were. Again, sold is all we care about. If you look at this on a trend line, so we're going from in the why is it not giving me a? So in the 270 range to the 385 range. The absorption rate is actually trending down here. Not a whole lot, but it is trending down. And days on market, pretty similar. 158 versus 179, so it is decreasing. So we've got 18 months of inventory, and this is looking at everything. I mean, this is considering waterfront to mobile homes. And this zip code has quite a mixed bag of residential. I mean, there's quite a few mobile homes, there's quite a few newer median price developments, and there's obviously quite a few lake properties. So we're going to look at median more than average. You got a median list of 369, a median sale of 385, and a median days on market of 66. This has vastly improved. Over last year we had a median of 94 this time of the year. So market time's getting shorter and prices have gone higher. So that's a good sign in the residential market. And if you look at year to date, you're looking at 168 days on market versus actually 136. So I think that's probably due to the time of the year. If we were pulling this report in September, where we had July, August, and September of short market times, it would probably bring this number closer to these year to date numbers. We've had 83 closings so far this year. There were 88 last year. That's interesting. So I guess a lot of these are happening. It makes sense. They're happening later in the season. They're happening in the time of the year down here. Your peak market is when people are actually visiting. Pending, we have 86 versus 95 for the month. Looking at it this month over last year, we've got a 31% increase in volume this year. And then as far as what's on the market year to date, we've got a 6.3% increase. Month to date, the 1.5. And then what's coming on, we've got more listings coming on the market, 65 this year versus 44 last year. And we're actually flat year over year on that. So there's a million ways you can look at this and slice and dice, and like I said, this is a real high level 500-foot view of the 24121 market. Hopefully this is reloaded by now. Nope. Yeah. So this will give you an idea of the zip code. Sorry, this is being so slow. So Hales Forge Bridge is in this area. This takes in the better areas of the lake, but it also takes in all this land up here. And this is where, when you get off the lake, this is where a lot of the outliers are going to be. The one development we're looking at is on North Shore in this area. Actually, in this area right here. And then the golf course is actually right in this area. So all the stuff that we brought into this analysis doesn't really count. But based on what you're looking for, we can drill down and get as specific as we need to. But this is just a high-level overview. So hopefully this helped out, and give me a shout. You can always reach me at 540-314-1243.